TomoNews presents Bad Service. United Airlines drags passenger off flight. United Airlines is facing yet another PR disaster. That's after this footage of a bloodied passenger being forcibly removed from a flight went viral. The man was dragged from his seat as the plane sat on the tarmac in Chicago on Sunday, bound for Louisville, Kentucky. It all kicked off when United needed to get 4 staff members to Louisville, but then realized the flight was already full and no seats were available. Passengers who volunteered to give up their seats and take a later flight were offered $400 in compensation and a free hotel stay. But even when that offer was doubled to $800, there were still no takers. That's when United decided to choose the volunteers themselves, and 4 passengers were randomly bumped from the plane. One couple left the airplane without incident, but the man in the video refused. He said he was a doctor and needed to get back to Louisville to see his patients. United staff told the man that security would be called if he didn't get off the plane. Again, he refused, and that's when things got physical.
No, this is wrong. Oh my God, look at what you did to him. Oh my.
While this incident was undoubtedly brutal, United is within its legal rights to overbook flights and to remove passengers from their planes. They just have to pay compensation of up to $1,350, depending on the length of the delay. 10 minutes later, the passenger ran back on the plane looking confused. Eventually, all the passengers were made to deboard and go back to the gate while the plane was cleaned up. The plane eventually arrived in Louisville 2 hours late. In a statement, United Airlines apologized for what they described as an overbooking situation, but didn't say sorry to the passenger who was dragged from his seat. In an email to staff on Monday, United CEO Oscar Munoz said the man was disruptive and belligerent. The Chicago Department of Aviation says the security officer who dragged the passenger out of his seat has been put on leave, pending an investigation. Things are going from bad to worse for United Airlines. A former United Airlines customer is claiming staff once threatened to handcuff him if he didn't give up his seat to make way for a higher priority traveler. High-flying businessman Jeff Ferns came forward with his story after the forcible removal of a passenger from a United plane on Sunday. Ferns paid $1,000 for a first-class ticket from Hawaii to LA last week, but was then told to get off the plane. The finance executive said United staff told him somebody more important had showed up at the last minute, and if he didn't budge, they'd remove him by force. Ferns was eventually downgraded to economy and placed between a married couple who refused to sit next to each other and argued for the entire 6-hour flight. Back at home, Ferns asked United for a full refund and a $25,000 donation to the charity of his choice. As the LA Times puts it, that's how rich guys do it. United turned down both requests and instead offered Ferns the difference between the first-class ticket and an economy ticket. The airline then got in touch a week later to offer a $500 credit for a future trip, but Ferns said he would never fly United again. This latest PR blow to the airline comes in the wake of the forcible removal of passenger Dr. David Dow from a Chicago to Louisville flight on Sunday. On Wednesday, United offered a full refund to everyone on that flight and said it would no longer get the cops to remove passengers from planes that were too full. What's more, Chicago's Department of Aviation said 2 more officers involved in the removal of Dow had now been placed on leave, pending an investigation. 3 officers in total have now been placed on leave. Meanwhile, attorneys for Dow filed an emergency request with an Illinois state court to force United to preserve video and other evidence related to the removal of their client from the plane, which in all likelihood means the lawyers are preparing a huge-ass lawsuit for damages against United Airlines. And the United nightmare continues. There's more turbulence coming United's way, with the airline again making headlines this week for booting a couple off a flight. The Utah couple were en route to their wedding in Costa Rica. After boarding the plane, they discovered a man snoozing on their seats. Instead of waking him up, they decided to just park themselves on some empty seats nearby. A flight attendant came by asking if they were in the right seats, since they were sitting in Economy Plus, which was more expensive. The couple asked for an upgrade, but were denied and told to move back. Despite complying with the order, they claim a marshal later came and took them off the plane anyway. They were rebooked on Sunday morning, the day of their wedding. But United isn't sorry about what happened, and they claim that's not how things went down. According to the airline, the couple didn't pay for the upgraded seats, but repeatedly tried to sit there and wouldn't follow instructions to move back to their assigned row. The couple's motives for moving seats does seem shady. And it's possible they were capitalizing on United's recent mishaps, trying to score better seats for free. But despite not being entirely at fault for this one, it's really not in United's best interest to keep booting people off their planes, especially for something as little as a seat upgrade. But I guess old habits die hard. Really, we should just be thankful they didn't assault anyone this time. United Airlines bunnygate scandal rumbles on. The owners of a giant rabbit that died after flying with United Airlines are demanding an investigation into his death and compensation from the carrier, which has been having quite a few PR problems lately. Simon, a continental giant rabbit, died last month after a flight from London to Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. The bunny's former owner said he had a checkup just 3 hours before hopping on the plane and was fit as a fiddle. Simon was on his way to his new owners, Iowa-based investors who'd pinned their hopes on him winning their state fair's biggest rabbit competition. According to at least one airline employee, Simon may have accidentally been locked in a freezer for 16 hours after the plane landed in Chicago. Now, attorneys for the rabbit's owners are calling for an independent investigation. They say United cremated Simon after his death without permission from the owners, pretty much destroying any evidence left in the case. Standing 3 feet tall before his untimely passing, Simon was expected to be officially named the biggest rabbit in the world. The Iowa group bought him from UK-based rabbit breeder Annette Edwards. She owns Simon's 4-foot-long father Darius, and he remains the world's largest bunny. Simon's owners want United to pay his purchase price, shipping costs, and the economic loss of his death. The owners are giving the airline 7 days to respond before they file a lawsuit. United Airlines passengers feel the squeeze. United Airlines has confirmed it will retrofit some of its Boeing 777 jets to include 10 abreast seating in economy. The airline will reconfigure coach class in 19 of its Boeing 777s on domestic routes, mostly serving Hawaii. United will rip out its current 9 seats in a row 2-5-2 layout to squeeze 10 passengers per row into a 3-4-3 configuration. That means the aisles in economy class will become narrower by around 3 inches each. The new layout will also mean a reduction in elbow room, as seat width decreases from 18 inches to 17 inches. But legroom shouldn't be affected. The only way that would be reduced is if United added extra rows of seats. Capacity on a typical United Airlines Boeing 777 flying domestic routes will increase by 20 passengers, from 344 to 366. International routes on United will retain a 9-abreast 3-3-3 configuration in economy. But the move reflects a growing trend in aviation, with a 3-4-3 layout used on at least some planes by carriers including Emirates, American Airlines, and KLM. According to Boeing, more than half of the 777s it sold last year had 10 abreast seating in coach class. Increased capacity can help airlines raise revenue, which they say keeps fares lower. Adding an extra seat per row is one of the least extreme ideas floated by airlines recently. More out-of-left-field plans have included an Airbus patent for split-level seating, and French manufacturer Zodiac's idea to make passengers sit facing each other in a hexagon layout. Both Ryanair and Chinese budget carrier Spring Airlines have even said they would like to offer standing seats on passenger aircraft. More airline drama. American Airlines landed in the hot seat Friday after a flight attendant went full rage on a young mother, then got into a screaming match with another passenger. The woman boarded the Texas-bound flight with a stroller, which wasn't allowed in the cabin. A male flight attendant violently yanked the stroller away, hitting the woman's head and barely missing her twin babies. A video shot during the aftermath shows the woman at the front of the plane crying and asking another flight attendant to give her stroller back. As she's being consoled, a male passenger stands up and asks for the aggressive employee's name. The passenger tells the attendant off when he shows up moments later and is immediately warned to stay out of it. The man confronts the attendant, who repeatedly taunts him to try and deal a hit. The two nearly come to blows, but luckily somebody else intervenes.
Hey, bud. You do that to me and I'll knock you flat.
You stay out of this. Come on, Tony.
You get the hell up. Get the hell up.
Come on. Bring it
You
on.
try that with a man, I'll knock you out. Well, I'm not going to be
Keep on
silly.
going right back.
Yeah. Go with us where we're going.
Come on. You don't know what to say. story is.
I don't care what the story is. You almost hurt a baby. It was not an accident.
American Airlines has been very apologetic about the incident, suspending the flight attendant and upgrading the mother and her children to first class on another flight. Internet reactions to the people involved in the drama have been mixed, but the airline has emerged mostly unscathed due to effective damage control. Hope you're taking notes there, United.
Unhappy customer schools super rude pizza man with epic comeback. It's happened to us all. You place an order, eagerly wait for your food to arrive, pay for it, and then open the box. Damn! They screwed up the order! This is what happened recently when Eric Promenchenko ordered a pizza from the State Street branch of Domino's in Saginaw, Michigan. Instead of white sauce, he got light sauce. So he called to complain, speaking to the manager Chris Bernier, who then hung up on him, not once, but twice. So Eric's girlfriend's mom went to the store to complain in person, and this is what happened next.
And then on me. My son never got belligerent with you. Asked
Are you coming for your money back? Because I really don't care about your opinion.
I want your supervisor's name and your supervisor's phone number.
Here you go.
Please give me your supervisor's name and your supervisor's phone number.
It's not happening.
Sir? You guys really don't want to have service with him because, one, he's going to mess up your order, and two,
Yeah, it's not my fault you didn't order your pizza right. Get the fuck out of here.
Excuse me, sir, I want your supervisor's phone number and your supervisor's name.
Okay. My supervisor's name is go yourself. Get the fuck out of here. You fucking retard.
Excuse me, I'm not the one in a pizza outfit when I'm 40 years old, so be calling me a retard.
Stop! That comeback was so epic, let's hear it again.
Excuse me, I'm not the one in a pizza outfit when I'm 40 years old, so be calling me a retard.
Sorry dude, but you got owned. And according to the media, you also lost your job on Monday to boot, after the video went viral and local media picked up on it. That sucks. But with no pizza joint in Michigan willing to hire you after this episode, can we suggest you try here instead?
Customer asks for a refund, gets assaulted by Burger King manager. Apparently you can't have it your way after all. A Louisiana BK customer learned this lesson the hard way after complaining that her milkshake she ordered turned out to be just soft serve ice cream. An unverified footage posted to video sharing site LiveLink shows a customer secretly recording the confrontation as things start to get heated.
You cannot treat people like this. This is your job. Are you for real?
No, wait.
I don't know what happened to you today. I'm sorry. You handed me soft serve ice cream and then gave me some garbage, and I'm not going to eat it.
Really? Okay, get out.
The manager, who clearly isn't all too pleased with her small screen debut, is shown refusing to provide a refund before issuing a whopper of a threat.
And you're rude. You are so rude. You are so rude. Go. It's on those cameras, and it's going to be do not touch me. I'm not taking a picture. I'm making sure that I'm going to be safe whenever I walk out of here.
I think it's safe to say this chick won't be flipping burgers for much longer.
You took my picture for real?
Get off of my foot.
You want to get slapped?
This is assault. I'm calling the cops. Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Angry server pours boiling hot water over customer. Ms. Lin was dining with her mother, her younger sister, and her 7-month-old baby at a local hot pot restaurant in Wenzhou, China, when their server poured a pot of boiling soup over her head. He then yanked her to the floor and began kicking and punching her. The reason the 17-year-old server gave for attacking Ms. Lin? She'd asked him to add soup to the pot one too many times. According to Ms. Lin's sister, they'd asked for soup twice. The first time the server had ignored them, and the second time he told Ms. Lin to shut up and drink the soup that was already in the pot. Ms. Lin then angrily demanded to see the manager and made a post on China's social media, Weibo, about the crappy service. 10 minutes after the post, their server reappeared and poured boiling soup over Ms. Lin. Ms. Lin was rushed to the hospital where doctors informed her she had 2nd to 3rd degree burns on 42% of her body. Most of the burns were to her face, neck, and back and have blistered. The restaurant has covered all of Ms. Lin's medical fees, but the family says they are still suing the restaurant and the teenage server. Allegedly, when the server was arrested, he was still smiling.
DNA test proves Chili's waiter spat in customer's to-go cup. Disgruntled waiters sometimes act out by doing terrible things to their customers' food. Ken Yurden was eating dinner with his wife and 12-year-old son at the Chili's in Clay, New York on July 28th. Greg Lamika, then a waiter at the Chili's restaurant, spat in Yurden's to-go drink after Yurden made a few minor complaints about the food. Yurden didn't realize what had happened until he was driving home. After taking a few sips from his drink, the top of the drink came off and he looked inside. He decided to report the incident to police and turned over the evidence for DNA testing. Lamika denied spitting in Yurden's drink, but he agreed to a mouth swab. When police confronted Lamika with the DNA evidence, he admitted to having spat in Yurden's to-go drink. Now, Yurden is suing Lamika and the franchise that owns the Chili's for letting Lamika continue to work there for months after the incident.
This Starbucks employee must have been having a really awful day. A Starbucks shift supervisor, identified only as Melissa, quit the job she'd been holding down for the last 5 years after a video of her screaming at a customer went viral. Melissa's fuse blew at this Starbucks in Elmhurst, a neighborhood in Queens. A woman named Ruby Chen says the whole thing started when she pulled up her phone to pay with an app. She didn't hear when an employee asked her name, and that alone allegedly set Melissa off.
Are you okay? You're not getting
When customers rushed to Ruby's defense, Melissa turned her wrath on them. Ruby says Starbucks did contact her to apologize. Melissa ended up quitting after her employer placed her on suspension. So would you have stepped up to defend Ruby? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
McDonald's worker baits homeless man with a burger, then tosses water at him. This video of a homeless man getting cold water thrown at him by a Detroit McDonald's employee is making the rounds on social media, attracting more than 100,000 views on live leaks since it was uploaded on November 6th. A man who goes by the handle Skis says he was high AF when he shot the video at a McDonald's drive-thru during a Munchies run. Apparently, Skis thought a brewing argument between a homeless man and the drive-thru attendant was something worth capturing on video, so he pulled out his phone. In the video, you can see the employee call out to the homeless man. He asks him if he wants a sandwich and then baits him with a burger box. Dangling the promise of a hot free meal, the drive-thru employee lures his victim to the drive-thru window, all the while laying a cold trap for the elderly man once he got there. The owner of the franchise says the incident will be addressed with the employee in the video and that appropriate action will be taken. We hope that means he'll get fired. Life is tough enough with just a few pennies in your pocket and the street for your bed. This hungry homeless man didn't deserve to be humiliated.
World star! World star!